G'day guys, welcome back to SuperCoach with DR and welcome to the round 12 review. The first bye round is now upon us, but I think unfortunately for lots of teams, the carnage is yet to come. I watched a little bit of footy over the weekend, but I have been absolutely crook as a dog. It's nothing COVID related, more of a tummy bug that my lovely son Max decided to pass on to me. Kids are always very sharing, caring when it comes to sickness, aren't they? But look, no complaints. Let's move forward, get the round review done. I might have a bit of a snooze after I'm finished with this one though. But look, how'd I go this week? 1963 for a round rank. I did move down in the ranks exactly 100 spots outside the top 500 now and see myself sitting at 559. But look, I'm not too concerned about that because you will notice during the bye rounds a lot of fluctuations when it comes to coaches' rankings. You know, some people have really strong bye rounds or either really weak bye rounds, but what I'm trying to do or focus on anyway is just trying to get a bit of an even balance. So I did break a few of my rules this week when it comes to trading. I was only going to make the one trade, just play a little bit safe, but I ended up using all three trades. I brought in a couple of rookies that aren't even on the bubble, which is one of my number one rules. Never bring in a rookie before he's played his second game. And I did bring in another premium player, but I think you'll be really surprised about the premium that I actually brought in. As I said, it's all about some future planning. So let's get straight into it. Actually, before I do, I must apologise as well. Last week, I didn't get back to any of the comments in the round review or the stock market video. I was meaning on putting out a Q&A video and getting to all of those and doing it that way. But as I said, I was just feeling really under the weather, extremely busy, as you know, finishing up reports at the moment. So I do apologise for that. And I will absolutely do my best to get to all of those this week. But let's get into it and see how the side is actually looking. We'll start with the man up the top, Jake Lloyd. I've said it before and I'll say it again, the most consistent defender in the game. 108 points over the weekend and his average is now 108.8. So bang, smack on. Love that from the Seagull. And I'll take that every week, to be quite honest. You want a little bit more, but I'm not complaining with 108 from any defender these days, really. Jaden Short, 78. Yeah, the roller coaster pick. Up, down, 170-something, 170-something. Yeah, do you flip him during the buys? Possibly, with the couple of extra trades that we now have up our sleeve. I don't know what I'm going to do with Short. I'll most likely keep him, I think. But, yeah, who knows? Who knows? I may even look to flip him. We'll see what happens. Jordan Ridley. Yeah, this pick as well. Look, you just couldn't have predicted this after the first, 4 or 5 games. If you would have asked me, you know, who's a defender that's just got an absolute rock-solid role that will not change for the rest of the season, I would have said Jordan Ridley. He's the kick-out king. That's what he does. He's an interceptor. He doesn't lock down. And what have we seen the last couple of weeks? We've actually seen this man play a lockdown defender role, getting none of the kick-ins, none of those free chips like the Seagull gets and someone like even a Jaden Short gets. So just really, really disappointing. I wouldn't recommend to actually bring him into your side at this stage. I'm really, really worried about the pick. And if he had the round 14 bye as opposed to the round 13 bye, I would most likely trade him out of my side. I hate to say that, but things just aren't looking good for the Riddler at the moment. Stephen May, 106. Rap that this bloke actually hit the ton. He hasn't been the best investment for me. I did get him at around 400k, so he has made about 40k for me there, but it doesn't matter too much, you know, how much money these type of blokes make when you're hoping that they're going to stay in your side for the rest of the year. It's just a bit of a bonus, I suppose. But yeah, anytime he goes over 100, as I've said before with any defender, I'm fairly happy, I think. Nath Murphy, a bit of a fail, 37. Look, originally I thought he was going to be a defender. Then we saw him play on a wing. And now all of a sudden he finds himself forward. I don't know if it's just due to circumstances. The commentators mentioned a couple of times that they actually liked him up forward. But I didn't overly, like him up there, to be quite frank. Look, he got to a few contests, but I just didn't feel that he had a major impact on the game. But we know on the wing now, Poulter's got that absolutely locked down, that role, and Hoskin Elliott usually plays on the other side. So, yeah, with Murphy, I'm probably looking to keep on to him for one more week, and hopefully I'll be able to flip him just before the round 14 bye. Bianco I did bring in this week, and I actually got rid of Tommy Highmore. So I just had a bit of a bad feeling. I thought, look, what if this bloke comes on as a sub, third quarter or something like that, and then gives you around 10 points. In the end, I think he gave us 17 points. So I'm glad that I got off the Highmore train and invested in Bianco. And what it gives me with Bianco in my defensive line is that loop with Laird and also Fife, as my loophole as well. Now, what's really handy about that, particularly during the buys, is that you can flip players in order to assist you with your trade. So I think that's really important. Look, it was a bit of a no-brainer option last week, Bianco. I did decide to go early on him, mainly because I really did need his points, so were really handy for me at the end of the day, and I just think he's going to be a really solid rookie. One of the safest that I think we've seen come in mid-year, I think, for a long time. So, yep, all on the Bianco train, and Stewart and Jonesy, they'll come back this week, which will be nice. Onto the midfield, so you can probably see the man sitting on the bench there that I did trade in. Now, I'll get straight to him. Josh Kelly, why not? We'll get straight to him. Now, there's a reason behind the madness here. Now, you think, why did I bring in a player that is not even playing this week? Now, last week, sorry. The issue was that I had Anthony Scott sitting on the bench, and I had enough money to go up to someone around the 565k mark. And after looking at all the different options, I thought, look, I really do want to get a premium midfielder in, particularly from the round 12 buy. And the reason being is because if you look at this midfield that I've got, and I think most people's midfields at the moment, rounds 13 and 14 are going to be absolute carnage. So I thought, look, I won't focus on the short term, because, look, I could have brought in a forward. I was really keen on Shai Bolton or Bailey Dale, and it was really tempting to bring them in just for that week. But I thought, nah, I'm going to resist the temptation, and I'm going to plan ahead. And I think by getting Josh Kelly in this week, it's hopefully going to be a bit of a smart move, because he's obviously going to be covering for the next two buys, and I can use up to 4 trades this week. And I have got a few different options up my sleeve. One of them you may think's a little bit crazy, but I'll go through my trade plans a little bit later. But let's just quickly check out Josh Kelly, and I'll show you why I'm so keen on this bloke. So we can see there that his 3-round average is 118, and his 5-round average is 119. So that puts him up in the top 10 for midfielders for 3-round and 5-round average. Now, we know what the risk with Kelly is. It's obviously his change of role. Is Mad Leon going to send him back to the forward line? Look, we're not quite sure, but I'm going off basically the last 5 weeks' data. If we check out his scores, they're just super consistent and really impressive. So we go back to round 7 against Adelaide. It's a 129, a 111, a 132, a 102, and a 122. So we know what this man can do when he actually plays in the midfield, and that's actually what's been happening during the past month or so. And look, I know that I did advise for people to trade out Josh Kelly in, probably around round 6, just before he changed that role in round 7. So I do apologise for that. But look, I didn't see it coming. I didn't see the change of role coming. All the data suggested that Leon was just going to keep playing him as that half forward. But yeah, circumstances changed, and he finds himself in the midfield. Now, the other thing that I really like about the Kelly selection is his upcoming fixture. So he's playing North, Carlton, Hawthorn, Melbourne, which is a tougher match, obviously, Gold Coast, Sydney, Essendon. So particularly those next 3 rounds coming up, North, Carlton and Hawthorn, I really, really like the look of that. And his past history against these teams as well is really, really solid. So I don't know if I can get to that, can I? Yeah, here we go. So if you look at Carlton, didn't play in 2020, but a 131 in 2019 and a massive 205 in 2018. Look at Hawthorn, a 0, 122 and a 154. And North Melbourne, the 0, 128 and then an 89. So apart from that 89 there, his lowest score is a 122. So I really, really like the look of that. So that's why I decided to take the punt on Josh Kelly. I never advised to start Kelly, but I think now if you bring him into your side, going into round 13, then that durability risk really does decrease, because you only need him to play for 10 to 12 weeks, which is, it's still not a great thing to be having players like Kelly and Aaron Hall, and even someone like, if I decide to go Whitfield in the side, it's a little bit dicey. But look, at the end of the day, I think for Kelly's price at 560, he's basically the best player that I could afford. I think that his buy structure really, really suits my team going forward for the next couple of weeks, and it's a little bit of an ace I've got up my sleeve, I think. So, yeah, that's what I think about the Josh Kelly pick. Am I nervous? 100% I am. Am I breaking my rule? Yeah, a little bit. But, yeah, I'm hoping with fingers crossed that it's going to put me in a good position in the long run. Well, even not even in the long run, in the short term anyway, I think. We'll quickly go back to the mids. Clary, he was a little bit disappointing this week. I had the vice captaincy on him, hoping for a nice 130 type score, but unfortunately he didn't deliver. I'll forgive him because he's been absolutely monstrous over the last 2 to 3 weeks. So 94, not the best, but yeah, I'll forgive him. Now, my captain was going to be Jack McRae, and he ended up scoring pretty well with a 129, but I did get cold feet because he didn't have the best history down there at Optus Stadium, and I felt a little bit uneasy about it. So I did decide to switch the captaincy to Zeret, and that actually worked out really, really well with a 137. So wrap from Zeret. Thought that he played just a terrific game and actually used the ball really, really well. I think that's been the difference with Merritt in recent times. He has been using the ball a lot better. I think in some of the early rounds, he just wasn't hitting those targets, those 30-metre chip kicks that were just ineffective. He wasn't getting any points for those, basically. So now that he's hitting the target, some great delivery. There was a beautiful right foot goal assist. I'm not sure if it was a goal assist actually, but inside 50 mark, it was just fantastic. He's wonderful user when he's on merit. Led 144, absolutely fantastic from this bloke. Has been in spectacular form. Whether or not you got him in the midfield or your defensive line, you're really, really happy. Oh, this bloke, Dane Zorko. Now, I'm going to leave my rant for the SuperCoach Swordplay Podcast that I do with Spills. Make sure that you check that out. We're going to do that tomorrow night and hopefully have that uploaded probably at about 10 o'clock tomorrow, so maybe listen to that on your Wednesday night. But there is a segment in the podcast called DR's Rant, so I'll give you a sneak preview. This is going to be my rant. This muppet of a man, I'm spewing on this bloke because all of a sudden he turns into around 13 and 14 by a player. It was just a silly act. It was a weak act, undisciplined from a captain. As I said, look, I'm going to leave my rant for the podcast, but not happy, Dane Zorko. And I tell you what, I reckon he can almost bugger out my side this week. Talk about that in a minute. Sam Mulch, again, the same sort of story. Pretty decent. I'd say almost, would you say a really good, you'd almost say a really good first half. I think he was on about 75 to 80 points, but again, ends up on that 124. So, he's fading in the second half, which is a little bit frustrating and not what we expect from an endurance beast like Sammy Walsh, but I'm not complaining with a 124. That's still a really nice score. But, when you see a player sort of getting towards that 80 mark at half time, you sort of think, well, I'll double that. That's around a 160. Doesn't really ever work like that, I know, but a little bit frustrating. Brayshaw, 120, really, really happy with the 120 from Bray. Been a bit of an ordinary selection for me. One really poor score, did miss a game in there as well, but hopefully he can bounce back. Possibly one of those players, given the fact we've got 2 extra trades now, that we may be able to move out for maybe more of an Uber premium, I think. I don't think that I'll do it, but the option is certainly there. Poulter, this guy has been absolutely phenomenal. 89. Unfortunately, I think I've probably got to say goodbye to him next week. But, I'm so tempted to hold on to him because he's just got that great DPP swing, a really reliable on-field option still, and wouldn't he just be the perfect swingman to keep for the rest of the season? I 100% won't have that luxury because I still need to make a couple of upgrades, but, just been a terrific selection. I think we've all got him anyway. Kelly talked about Titch didn't play this week, but he's got a really nice buy for me. Will cover for the next couple of rounds. Would be ultra handy if he could go a 125 average in the next couple. 5 is loophole, not really relevant, so I'll get out of this player profile. Into the ruck, so I did make another trade here. So I got Coleman Jones in for Flynn. The plan now is to probably flip Coleman Jones into the forwards this week. I'll talk about that when I get to them. But yeah, really impressed by this fella. I think he was on about 62 at half time, three-quarter time, did not move, and ended up on an 86. So I think his break-even is around the negative 100, which is absolutely great for our cash gen. This is a bloke that we were begging for, got that DPP status, which is handy. So yeah, I'm expecting him to get games for at least the next 4 to 6 weeks, I'd assume, and that's all I need from Coleman Jones. I'm going to use him, I think, at this stage to make my last upgrade of the side. Don't know when exactly that will be, but I'm pretty confident that at this rate he'll be able to get to 300k pretty quickly. And Grundy, I'm keeping on to Grundy. Look, we'll listen out for more news, but if it's 3 weeks like it's projected to be, then there's no way that I'm trading him out of the side. I'll just keep him on the bench there and bring another man in this week to cover for him, which won't be Coleman Jones. Pretty obvious pick, I think most of us will be making. Look, the forward line was absolute shambles for me this week. Zeeble, Hall, Impey, all on field, did not play. I was spewing on Madden. That's another, a frustrating pick, isn't it? I wasn't expecting Froggy Lester to be back this week. I thought it'd be at least another week away with that hamstring, but he made some sort of miracle recovery, so Madden was straight out of the side. But Leicester did re-injure that hamstring again, but will he be back in time? I'm not too sure. Fingers crossed. I do love Froggy, but I do want to see Jimmy getting some games. But yeah, Impey didn't play. Rowe gave me a 32. Look, I've loved having Jimmy in the side this week, but goodbye, Jimmy. It's been fun, mate. But yeah, time to let you go, I think. Waterman, geez, he was ripped off a contested mark. I reckon the chance at goal was in the second or third quarter. A little bit ripped off. There goes my phone. It's actually Spills. Spills, I'll give you a call back soon, bud. Yeah, almost done the review, mate. I'll give you a call back soon, buddy. But yeah, look, a 57 with Mortimer, that's okay. I just really need this bloke playing at the moment. R2's a dead rookie, may even get rid of him this week. And Jimmy Madden, as I said, really disappointed that he got dropped. Hopefully he can come back. I don't think that he's a dead rookie. I've still got some hope for Jimmy Madden. So, going into my trades for this week. So, I'll just put the side as it will look for this week. So, wrap that Stewart comes on. Get Merritt onto the field. McRae, unfortunately, has to come off just for this week. Coleman Jones, going to do something with him. Yeah, and geez, it'll be nice to have those North Melbourne blokes back as well. But look, what I'm thinking this week is Jimmy Rowe's got to go for me. Really high break even, around 90, I think. And although he's going to be playing this week, he's just going to be leaking cash. And I think for me, what I'm going to do is use a little bit of DPP swing, get Coleman Jones out, and then get Reeves in. So I'm assuming that he comes back into the side. Really nice average here, 86. So I think that he'll be really good cover. Now, this is a bit of a controversial move. I'm not sure. Actually, one move that I may consider doing, and I don't know if it's worth going early. We'll have to see. Depends on the other moves that I make, but I'm assuming R2 might be a little bit of a dead rookie. I think it may be the smart option just to cut ties with him now. So I'm going to trade him out, and this is all based on a little bit of hope. But I'll get Poulter back into the midfield, and then I will bring in... Now, what's his name? I should know this. Oh, that's right. Jai Newcomb. So I'm not sure if he gets a game. And again, I'm not sure if it's actually worth going early on him, but I think that R2 is a bit of a dead rookie, and it is going to be handy to have Poulter in my forward line this week to cover, I think, and it's always good to have that DPP status. And now this is the big move. Now, I'm not sold on this yet, but the way that I'm thinking is this. Dane Zorko is now going to missing for this week and more importantly, the crucial round 14 bye, where I think most teams are going to find it really, really tough. So I'm thinking of saying goodbye to Zorko, bring Bianco into my midfield, and then bring him in Lockie Whitfield. So So I'll complete those trades. 386,900. So you may think it's a little bit crazy trading at Zorko. His break even is still pretty low, and he'll have probably one nice cash rise in him, but I think after that he will start to fall down a little bit because some of those really big scores will start to fall out of his system, and I don't think that he's got a heap more of those scores in him. You know, Lockie Neal's back now. We're going to see Jared Berry come back hopefully after the bye, so I think that his mid-time will decrease. Look, I still certainly think that he'll be one of the top 6 forwards, so it is a little bit crazy in that respect, the fact that I'm trading him out of my side. But remember, we do have a couple of extra trades now, and I do have a fair bit of cash in the bank, 386,900. So if I take Waterman out, that means that I've got Poulter there. So I've now for this week got a full forward line. I'll have the 2 rucks that are playing, which would be really, really handy. I'll be 1 down in my defence. This is assuming that Newcomb plays. I'm not sure that he does or not. And in my defensive line, I'd actually get Murphy out and Jones. So looking extremely healthy, I think, for this week. Possibly a little bit scary next week. But as I said, I do have a couple of moves up my sleeve. Now, what I do want to do is trade in another forward. I think I definitely have to do that now that Dane Zorko is out. And the man that I'm looking at almost locking in at this stage, unless I hear of, a change of role again, is Kyle Langford. Now, I did watch this game and I really did like what I saw from Langford seems really strong in the contest, and more importantly, he's got that inside mid role. Now, I'm assuming and expecting that he does keep that role. They've got some good midfielders out. Caldwell's out, Shields out. Don't know what's going to happen with McGrath now. So I think between Zerrett, Langford and Parrish, they're going to be the 3 main guys in the midfield, with players like Stringer going through there from time to time. So I think that Langford is probably the most logical solution, and the player I would most likely trade him for would be Poulter. So I think that Poulter will get to 315 to 320k hopefully, and although I would love to keep him, I think it's probably the best time to move him on. I probably just, due to the buy factor, can't afford to keep him because most people are going to be struggling like I am to get 18, but I still do think that I can get 18 for round 14 with a couple of sneaky trades, which I'm not 100% on yet, but I might share those a little bit later, I think. But look, they're my plans at this stage. Look, what's it going to cost me to get to Langford? Well, if Poulter gets to 320, say, about 475, about 150. So yeah, I'll have about 220 to 230k left over. And that means I might just change my team quickly back. I might be rambling, actually. But I'll just quickly put the team back to the best 22, just to show where I need my upgrades. So you can see from there that I've already got a complete defensive line now. Midfield is now complete. Now what I'm missing, I think, in the midfield is an uber premium. I may choose to, if I've got a luxury upgrade, something like a Titra Brayshaw, something like that, I'd love to possibly move on for an uber, but yeah, again, not sure if I'll have that luxury. You look at the rucks, so Grundy and Gawn, obviously complete there. Then you look at the forwards, you've got Zeeble, Hall, Martin, and Impey. So, as I said, Langford is going to come in next week. Not exactly, yes, I am sure, sorry. He'll come in for Poulter. So, basically, I'll be left with 8 trades and 1 upgrade to make. I'll have about 220k in the kitty, and I've got players like Coleman Jones, Lockie Jones as well, Nathan Murphy, who I'm pretty keen to move on if I can. So I'll certainly be able to get a complete side, and if all things go well, how many trades have I got? 9 now. Hopefully with 6 I'll be able to make a complete side. I think definitely 100% with 5 trades left in the kitty just for injuries. And I think that's really ideal. And given the fact that I may have 5 left over, I think that's maybe 1 or 2 extra than what I need, I think. Because if you think about how many long-term injuries you've had in your team this season, you might have been really unlucky. Look, I've had a few, I've had Danger, I've had Dunkley, a few short-termers like your concussions from Ridley and Martin, these type of things. But yeah, if I think about it, I haven't had anything too serious apart from those couple of guys that I mentioned. So yeah, I may be able to make a couple of luxury upgrades, but to be honest, the way the season's gone and the injury toll, it may even be smarter just to keep with the team that I end up upgrading to and just leaving those trades in the bank for a rainy day. So they're my thoughts anyway. Which other players do I like? I really like the Tuke Miller selection. I think he could be a fantastic pod. If I had have been able to afford him last week, it would have been a really tough decision between him and Kelly. But as I said, Kelly's fixture coming up is just fantastic. I'm getting Lachie Whitfield into the side this week. It is nervous, I suppose. Well, I am nervous getting rid of Dane Zorko, but bugger him. I think it's the right move, because I'm just not willing to have 600k sitting on my bench for the next couple of weeks in arguably the 2 most important rounds of the season. So I think it's a logical move when I look at it that way. And the bloke is 600k. I brought him in at low 500s, if that, I think, and has given me 3 or 4 really nice 100+ scores. He's averaged about 130, I think, while I've had him in my side. So cash out while the time is good. Trade while the price is high, although it should get a little bit higher after his first game back. But I'm willing to cop that because, getting Lachie Whitfield in, he's got a break even, I think, around the 70s. He'll certainly make some nice cash also. So I'll stop rambling now. I don't know how long this has gone for, but I will leave you there, guys. I will catch you tomorrow night for the SuperCoach Swordplay Podcast. Remember, we are uploading that to a new channel, so please make sure that if you've got the time, you do support that channel. Give it a like and subscribe and all that sort of jazz. And after that, I'll then see you in the stock market video for this week. We've got a few really interesting options that we'll talk about. So take care, guys. Hope all is well, and I'll see you soon. Cheers. Bye.